Okay, so first I brushed down her brows with my Morphe Jeffree Star brush, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in her brows with my Morphe pencil. Her hair is like a reddish brown. It's very, very light, so I made sure to take the pencil to match her real hair. It's like a red color, so my pencil is very, very warm. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend that in and fill in the bottom of her brows before I clean them up with concealer. Next, I'm going to go in with my Maybelline concealer, and this was in the shade 01. I believe it's like the very, very lightest shade because her skin is fairly light, and I'm going to go ahead and carve out the bottom of her brows and get her eyelids ready for the eyeshadow. I'm making sure to be very precise in where I put the concealer and make sure that her brows are cleaned up very nice and they look very long and thick at the tail of the brow as well as at the beginning of the brow. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend them in with these little mini Real Techniques blenders that I have to make sure that all of the concealer is blended into her skin very nicely. So that same Maybelline concealer I used for her brows, I'm going to go ahead and put that all over her lid to act as a base for the eyeshadow. And it is a little bit out of focus, but it's going to turn into focus in like 1 second. There we go. And then it's going to be blended out again with the same little mini Real Techniques blenders. So for the eyeshadow today, I decided to use a Too Faced Just Peachy palette, and these are all matte shades, which I love. And it took me a while to open up this palette, but you guys are going to see right now. It's a very beautiful palette. I'm going to take the very light shade to match her skin tone. I didn't want to go too dark because she is very fair. And I'm going to take it on a Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush and take the color that's right above the peachy shade, and we're just going to go ahead and use that as our first transition shade and run that under her brow area. So I'm just using patting motions to put it into her crease, and that's going to give me the most color payout. You just got to keep dipping back into the pan and keep patting it over and over again, and that's how you're going to get all the color that you need onto the lid. All right, going into the second shade, I'm going to use the top shade, which is very, very light, and I'm going to use that to highlight under her brow bone before I go into the rest of the shades into her crease. I'm going to first highlight the brow bone. All right, now time to deepen it up. I'm taking a little bit darker shade than the first one that we used, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that in her crease. Again, using light tapping motions, and I switched over to a different Morphe brush, and we're just going to go ahead and make sure it has a seamless blend and that it goes to a darker shade, almost like an ombre effect. And as I continue to pat that in, I make sure I pat it in from the ends of her eyes all the way to the inner corner. Okay, so then I went in with a Morphe pencil brush, and I'm just going to take a very deep plum, no, not plum, peach, I'm sorry, a peach shade, and we're going to go ahead and put that into her crease just to deepen it up. This is again going to be like the darkest I'm going to go with her eyeshadow look, and this is going to get us ready to carve out the crease for when we put the glitter. So for the lid, I'm going to take my NYX glitter glue, take that on a Wet n Wild brush, and just carve out her lid. We're not going to do like too much of a cut crease, but we're going to make sure that the lid is covered in glue enough to coat all of the glitter. And then I'm going to use my NYX, it's like a silver iridescent kind of glitter, and we're going to use that for her lid color today. So I first just pat on the glue, make sure it gets tacky and there's not too much on the lid, just the right amount so that the glitter sticks to it, but you can't see the glue underneath it. If you like, you can do a silver shade before you add the glitter to make sure that there's no spaces in between, but I just wanted to put a whole bunch of glitter on top so I didn't worry about the shade underneath. And then she went ahead and curled her lashes. Her lashes are very straight, so she wanted to do it herself to make sure that it's curled enough, and she didn't want me to like accidentally pinch her eyebrows or anything, or her eyelashes, so she went ahead and did it herself. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply the false lashes with the glue and tweezers, and just to make sure that they stick to the inner corner perfectly. All right, so next, after the eyelashes are on, I'm just going to go ahead and spoolie her brows and brush them out a little bit more to complete the look. And then I'm going to take the e.l.f. clear brow gel and just go ahead and run that through her brows and lift them up. Make sure that they're nice and thick and that they look even and very clean. She doesn't like her eyebrows too dark, more of like a natural look. That's why I mostly filled it in at the bottom and cleaned it up, and didn't fill it in too much because I knew I was going to put in this brow gel, and just to make it look very thick. All right, and then I'm going to take those two shades for the under eye, making sure that there's no glue on the under eye because sometimes it does transfer to the lower lash line when you do put on the lashes. So I just wiped it off with a Q-tip really quickly and then added those peachy shades to her lower lash line, and it will come back in focus right now. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, just running that on her lower lash line and then making sure that it matches and it runs to the end of her eye to blend into the top eyeshadow as well. Alright, so I'm only doing eyes right now, so I just wanted to clean it up with some concealer and blend it in with the mini blenders, and this is how it looks. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial.